What's up guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Sun and Moon video. And today, similarly to the other day where we talked about the possibility of Ultra Beasts being based or coming from dreams of some sort, we're looking at the new English trailer that was released the other day, focusing on the legendary Pokemon. As I mentioned in that video, it was released sort of like a month or so, well not maybe a month, a couple of weeks ago in Japanese, so it wasn't really delved into too much. I did go through the basic translation of it, but of course I don't speak Japanese, so I was using Google Translate, in which case I couldn't rely on, the stuff I translated to actually be correct or not. So, but with the English one now, we have some new stuff to look at. We looked at the possibility of Professor Burnett from the Dream Radar turning up, and now we have a new trial captain to look at. While we've got a new trial captain, we haven't seen him or her, we haven't seen them at all, but we have this short, again, zoom in on the text, which you can see is a person called Ilima, I guess is the best way to say it, saying, and my trial. So evidently they're a trial captain. They're saying, and my trial. We haven't heard of an Ilima so far as being a trial captain. We only had 4 trial captains revealed. We knew there were more because the Japanese Pokemon website mentioned that there were more than 4 trial captains in the Alola region, so we knew there were more. And in looking at they're breaking down where they are, all 4 trial captains we've seen so far are actually on Akala Island, i.e. the one with a volcano at the top right of the Alola map. So they're all on that island, which means of course there are likely other trial captains on the other islands of Alola. But we have Ilima saying my trial. Looking at the Japanese trailer, there was a similar clip, because if I translate the name of the speech bubble, it says Ilima again. I haven't translated what they're saying, but as you can tell, looking at the backgrounds, what's just behind the sort of the 2 speech bubbles, you can see one is very bright. It's a sort of a ground, sort of an orangey, brown color, whereas the other one has got more of a sort of a bland dark green pale tinge. Now my guess with this would be yes, it's the same area, but left one's in day, no, the right one's at night possibly, and you can see someone's shoes, whether that's the player or whether it's someone else, or if it's Ilima herself, we don't know. Himself, herself, I don't know which one it is, but I just thought I'd mention that because we'll look at that later on. But okay, trial captain Ilima, we don't know where they are going to be, we don't know what type they're going to be focusing on. We can assume each of the trial captains focus on a single type, because of course we have the 4 on Akala Island, which are fire, water, electric and grass, so it only makes sense that there will be other ones similar to Gym Leaders themselves focusing on different ones. But we can assume they won't be on Akala Island because that's already pretty much packed with trial captains, so they might be on another island. And to help us with this, we actually have a flower to help us out. Now, you guys might know, but a lot of the characters, or majority, and most of them probably, are characters in the Alola region, or not in the Alola region, in the Pokemon franchise, are sort of get their names from just basically flowers of sorts. Why this is, we don't know. Maybe it's linked to the fact that, I think it was Masuda hinted that flowers were going to be a big thing, for future of Pokemon, but they've been doing it for ages anyway. But Ilima is actually a flower, and we have the Cedar Phalax, which is also known as the Yellow Ilima, or in Hawaiian, Ilima. It's a species of flower in the hibiscus family. We talked about the hibiscus flowers before because they are related to Hawaii in some senses, and obviously it grows on some Pacific islands, i.e. Hawaii. As you can see, this is what they are. They are small and they're yellow in colour, but of course, Ilima, just yellow in colour basically. We'll come back to this later on, but for now we're going to look at the other trial captains because they are, as I mentioned, similarly also based on, the names are based on flowers, and it goes a bit more deep than that. So we have the 4 trial captains we've heard about so far: Mallow, Kiawe, Lana, and Sophocles, I think his name is pronounced. But Mallow's name comes from basically mallow, which is a type of cotton. Now, that's cool, okay, name, but you could also link the sort of the type of plant, or how the flower relates to her typing, which she specialises on, which of course is the grass typing. Because we have Pokemon like Cottony, which is a grass fairy type, you could say cotton has some relation to grass in that sense, and that's why that was chosen. That's a bit of a tenuous one. But if we then move on to Kiawe, his name actually comes from a species of tree which is a good source of long-lasting firewood and charcoal. What type of trial captain is he? He is a fire type one. Charcoal, fire, makes a lot of sense, firewood as well, it links in like that. Then thirdly we have Lana, the water type trial captain, and her name comes, in English at least, as well as other languages too, but basically in English, her name comes from Lilia Lana Ikak, which is Hawaiian for water lily, i.e. the water lily you see when floating on ponds and such. So pretty much works out fine there. The flower basically links to the typing they're based on. Finally, Sophocles is a bit of an interesting one because of course there aren't any flowers out there that necessarily teem with electricity, but in Japanese, as well as in the other languages as well, most of them come from the Hawaiian word, or Hawaiian word for Sophora chrysophila, which is of course a species of flowering plant. It's endemic to Hawaii again, so linking back to Hawaii, and there's a few things about it, but reading about it, I know there's one thing that might link in to Sophocles being the electric type captain. So if we look, one of the uses for these trees, these flowers, is that in herbal medicine the flowers are used as an astringent. Now what is an astringent? Basically it's a chemical compound that shrinks or constricts body tissues. Now I want you to think about electric shocks themselves, okay? I'm sure most of you would have done a test at some, well not necessarily you, but you would have heard about a test where, you know, if you hold still and then you get an electric shock. It's not very easy to do that because you tend to jump about, and the reason for that is electricity helps to contract your muscles and bring them together, and that's why you move your arms and stuff like that and snap them together, which is similar to what an astringent does. So maybe this is the link they chose between Sophocles, this flower, and the electric typing, the fact that the flower has similar properties to electricity itself. So basically all 4 of the trial captains we've seen so far, their flowers link to their typings, which, by power of deduction would mean that, wait, we can actually look at the flower that Ilima is based on, or Ilima's name comes from, and see if it has any relation to anything in particular to try and determine his or her typing. So the cedar phallax, as I mentioned, is a species of plant in Hawaii, etc, etc, etc. They may be erect or prostate, don't worry about that, and are found in drier areas in sandy soils, often near the ocean. So maybe sandy soils, and they're also found I think in mountains as well. Ground type. Sandy soils, obviously flowers don't generally grow in, or not all flowers grow in sand or anything like that. Most of them grow in soils, but sandy soils obviously is more the ground type. So maybe this links into the fact that she's a ground type trial captain, which makes a lot of sense. And plus, if they really wanted to link colour in as well, then they could obviously say it's an orangey thing, it goes with ground quite well there. But where might she be based finally? Well, funnily enough, the yellow Ilima, or the yellow hibiscus, is actually the flower of Oahu, one of the islands in Hawaii, and Oahu is actually the island that Mele Mele is based off of. So if we were to bring this further, it could indicate that Ilima is a trial captain on the island of Mele Mele. Now this is a bit weird since obviously the 4 we've been introduced so far are all on Kala, but I think we are expecting a trial, at least a totem trial on Mele Mele, since there seems to be one in the area with Raticates, Alona Raticates, or Young Goose, or Gumshoes rather. So that would indicate there's one there, which might indicate there's a trial captain on that island as well. And of course ground type, the yellow hibiscus, indicating Oahu, which is Mele Mele. Maybe Ilima is actually somewhere on this island. Maybe she's inside this crater, based on Diamond Head crater. Maybe she's around the back of the island somewhere. We don't know. What I want to know is what you think, because of course it's not just about me, it's about you too. Let me know what you think about this down below. Do you think Ilima is going to be the ground type trial captain, or do you think there's another sort of path we could go off down there? And do you think she's going to appear on the Mele Mele Island or somewhere else in the future? Let me know what you think about that down below, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button. But for now, this is it for me for today. I'll be seeing you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, my friends.